What is up? Cyber Day afternoon, May 24th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see all of our students and members alike inside our live trading room. Still with us, perhaps Dave and Brian, Kathleen, Roger, Scott, Mike, Leda, and all of us just here joining us right now, and all of us back on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. Great to have all of us here. So we have class on ahead coming up at 3:05 Eastern Time. Actually, more on class coming up at the end of this meeting. But with that, the link for class, the Phase 1 stock course, will be in the chat board coming up momentarily. Rich had posted that actually a little earlier, but we'll have him do a repost coming up right now for all of us just joining us here. So with that, coming up at 3:05 Eastern Time, we'll be wrapping up the Phase 1 stock course, talking all about news, how essentially we scan for news, how it's relevant to our trading, and really more or less like how news affects the stock's move, right? So a lot to digest coming up ahead, but with that, let's go right to it here. APLD. I hate to say this because we've been doing so well on this stock. We, as in you and me personally, but we ran it up so well from last week. Man, I was just focused on another trade. Once again, kind of like I said earlier on GCT in the morning meeting when I tagged in for Fausto, but I got caught slipping on this. It started pumping up. It was more so heading into like mid-afternoon here, early to mid-afternoon. We weren't as focused on it going into class here, so that's fine, but I ended up completely missing out on this pop. I was at my desk. I was just focused on a different trade, but man, this thing still has some more life to give here. Just actually re-broke over a price level right here, right off of 893. So let's check in right now. This could look to make a nice higher high sooner than later, actually. This APLD trade, I have it up on my level 4 right now. You can see it's on the left-hand side. So I had this up since yesterday and the day before. I've really been interested in seeing if this could break higher. I was on a coaching call with one of our students just before, looking to go over this break over 893, or at the time, we were looking for the drop down to 850. At the time, that was used as a pretty big support level between the volume that got filled there, plus the VWAP price kind of just guiding it right there off 850. So ultimately, I was looking for a pullback lower afterwards. Didn't get that. But now at this stage, if it's not going to break lower, perhaps there's only one other way the stock's going to go. So it's re-breaking above big resistance off that 892-ish, 893 there. So we'll check back in with this trade definitely at the end of this meeting. But for right now, it makes the list. Definitely a good stock to focus in on for right now, this APLD. Now, really quick for Roger and then Matt and Chris and all of us just here on the chat board. What stock ended up moving with the APLD last week? We talked about this. We went over this, I think, even just yesterday in Traders Talk, perhaps. But what stock from last week, really in full, ended up moving with this APLD, or rather, APLD ended up essentially moving with this stock. Do you folks recall? Just saying the GDC trade, not quite. We only traded GDC this morning, today, but a stock from last week, a stock from a little while ago at this point now. So the news with APLD is AI affiliated. They ended up getting a contract, an AI-related contract, like $180 million. Well, hey, AI, it's up like 2% today, not up nearly as much, but it's at the highs, right? So we're starting to see that correlation again, at least between AI and the APLD trade. Listen, it's not up as much, but for right now, it's actually still holding over a pretty big level, this trade. I think that's right off the closing bell print that we had on this. Let me just double check that. Go back to level 4 here and check in with this here. So my apologies, it wasn't off the closing print or opening print from today and yesterday. Rather, it was off this iceberg level. So big iceberg at 27.55, about 55,000 shares sitting there. So over time, it was choppy, and then just heading into the early to mid-afternoon, it led to the break above it, flipped it as support. We're getting the push up now up to 28. Let's check in with this APLD again. On our list still, but hasn't broken up higher just yet itself. So, hey, for right now, both make the list. Both still could be very interesting heading into the close. Good start so far, even with these two. We're familiar with them. Both have relatively good liquidity. Now, what we'll do is go from top to bottom, though. Let's build up our list pretty big. Markets are kind of slumping off lower heading into the close. I'm actually short on Apple right now, believe it or not. AAPL. I was calling it out earlier. It goes to show that it's like kind of a bad market otherwise when you got me calling out like mega cap stocks like NVIDIA and Apple. So Apple, I don't know. I was on a coaching call with one of our students. I still had the book map up and I gave it a shot. Dropping off right now. Perhaps, you can see a further drop within the SPY heading into the afternoon. But, top percent gainer right now, MEOA. I don't want to be a part of this. So move on. You know, this is literally the definition of just going to the casino or just trying to play Powerball later on and trying to win. So yeah, not really for me. I'm going to pass on that one for right now. The ENVB looks done for the meantime. I mean, it hasn't truly broken lower just yet, right? So there's still a shot, but it's really slumping back down off the highs pretty nicely. So great trade from the morning. We did very nicely on this in pre-market as well as after the market had opened up. But for right now, hey, I mean, I'll write this down on the side list, I reckon, but more than likely, we're not going to put this on our list here. Don't want to be a part of this. Pop and drop city here. I didn't even notice these trades really up until right now. You know, when I'm on coaching calls one-on-one with our students here, like I'm not trying to look for this crap. So, you know, I'm more inclined to focus on the stocks I've already been looking at. You know, the PLTR trade from earlier also. Coles, I want to give a shout out to one of our students, Belle. She crushed that trade herself. You know, there were plenty of others that we took advantage of. You don't need to trade the biggest, scariest, fastest stock to, you know, to make some money. If you're trying to blow up your account, that's the stock that you should be trading. If you're trying to blow up your account, then that's the stock for you. EEIQ. Well, hey, this had some pretty decent liquidity heading into the open, but this one also kind of dudded off. So maybe it wasn't up as much, but just goes to show that you're not trying to hold the day trade all throughout the day. This trade's done for right now too. I was looking for the bounce from 790 and I ended up going break even at first. I jumped back in for about like 30 cents. Could have gotten a lot more afterwards, but it just shook back down and down. Listen, if it's not going to make higher lows into a higher high, then don't try and force it. It tried making the higher high here off the local peaks heading into 11 o'clock, but obviously failed to really hold over that as support for the new leg up. So that's a cooked trade. We got a lot of cooked trades here at this point, folks. So what the hell is this? TYGO. I didn't even see this until now. Move away from that. ANF. All right. So ANF kind of at the highs right now, right? So perhaps we could put more of a further eye on this trade heading into the market close. I hope this becomes a faster moving stock for like a $29 trade. That's for sure. You could probably say the same on AI. But for right now, this looks like kind of flat, though, altogether, right? It's not really flat. It's been moving back up heading into the early to mid-afternoon. But let's see a faster trade heading into prime time trading, heading into the market close. Comparing Abercrombie & Fitch, ANF to Kohl's, this is not looking nearly as good. So I'm going to pass on Kohl's, pass on Macy's, AEO, American Eagle, another kind of a sister company to ANF. All right, I'll take it then. You know, if it's just ANF and nothing else is going to tease us, you know, it's only this one. So you know what? I'll actually add this here. It looks all right. You know, big resistance, I would assume, up top at 30. You probably have some big, you know, options, you know, strike prices right off 30, some calls coming in there, and probably some people that will look to do puts coming up too, depending on how weak the market is into the close today. But, you know, should be pretty volatile there. All right, what else do we have here, though, for the meantime? We got MVLA. Not bad. I mean, this looks pretty darn good to me. Actually moving back on up to yesterday's highs. 225 is Tuesday's high from yesterday. So, yeah, not bad here. I kind of like it. Good spread, good liquidity for right now. Hopefully spread doesn't open up more than it is here. You got RTL. You got AVID. What the heck happened in this AVID trade? Wow. Ended up just making a big pop here. Let me just jump to Benzinga Pro right now, just on my other screen. Take a look to see what the news is for this one. We don't have Newsman Levitan today, but I'm just going to get the news for this one here. So AVID shares trading higher following a report suggesting the company is working with Goldman Sachs exploring a sale. So that's the news on that. What do they say, folks? Buy the rumor, sell the news? Yeah. So AVID moving on up right now. Hopefully continues to push up higher into the close at this point. But yeah, I mean, looking at the spread, the liquidity, it's not really your friend here, but you know, nice trend and off the news, but kind of keep an eye on it. Oh, Urban Outfitters is also another stock, like clothing store stock up big today. I forgot that one. All right, let's see if there's anything else just on the loser side here. There's actually a lot more that's up big, but you know, a lot of these are kind of low volume, just cheapies. And you know, hey, if there's anything else looking really good, pushing on the way up right now, folks, type it in the chat board. Let me know here. Right now, the APLD is still holding above, you know, past resistance here as support. So, you know, needs to break higher sooner than later, but still not bad. It's in good shape here still. So let's hop over to the losers list, seeing if there's anything looking just as good. Current time right now is 2:41, so we got plenty of time here heading into the class to begin. All right, so NVTS. I think that we had put this on our morning watch list, if I'm not mistaken here, right? So many different stocks that we had called out earlier for ones that we kind of brushed off to the side, kind of forget about them a bit. Yeah, NVTS we had on the morning watch list. It was designated as a potential short, mind you. So, led to a little push up at first, but hey, this actually could have led to a beautiful short afterwards. Easy to say that in hindsight, but for the stock trending down heading into the open, you're looking for the short. So, it's a matter of seeing a lower high into a lower low. And, just easy to say that worked out beautifully. And so much so, this stock is still looking good into the afternoon. It's right off the low of the day right now. Good spread, good liquidity. Why not? If you're not joining me in class coming up ahead in the phase one, then perhaps you short this into the afternoon there. Not bad, this NVTS. There was a stock yesterday in the PM meeting yesterday, 24 hours ago. It just didn't break the level. That's the thing. We tried, but this stupid this ACHV trade. We were looking for this smash below support at $6. It just held right above it. It was a good setup, just it never ended up making that big break, right? So, NVTS, pretty similar kind of scenario. This looks stronger in direction on the way down. So, all right, PLCE here, not looking too special for right now. Neo down big, looked like that was a great short from earlier. I've been staying away from that. A little too slow for my liking typically, although today was actually pretty good. All right, so let me know if there's anything else looking good on the way up or on the way down right now, folks, heading into the close. It looks like I'm going to get stopped out break even soon on my silly little Apple trade. That's not such a tiny share position anyway. That's just a distraction. Honestly, who cares about that when there's better bang for the buck on this AI trade, perhaps more bang for the buck if APLD could push higher. So we have a really good list already. Oh, let me jump back to ENVB, side list stock. I said I'd kind of come back to, if anything. Still making lower highs, trending back down here for right now. So not too convinced just yet. All right, there we go. From Sam saying, woof, has been a slow, steady up from a big drop yesterday. Yeah, big drop looks like pre-market this morning even, and then it's retraced up really well. So good call. If it was closer to the lows, obviously, I'd look for it as a short. Perhaps you might think it's going to snap back down heading into the afternoon, and it is shortable. So perhaps there's a good trade with that, but I wouldn't necessarily expect like a huge move all the way back down to 8. I mean, it's done such a good job squeezing up already. Heck, it's kind of like asking, like at this stage, it's like more so near the proverbial highs. So, hey, if this ends up kind of snapping this trend line off the lows here, it makes a lower high. And shortable could be a very good short heading into the close in that regard. But you know what? I'll add this to our list. Good one here, Sam. Tradable in both directions, it seems. Good spread, good liquidity. It's moving. It's not like dead. So you know what? Actually, decent call there. I like it. And from Manuel saying APNG. Uh-oh. Maybe a typo there, Manuel. APNG. Maybe APLD he meant. Because APLD. There we go. Anyone in on this trade right now from the 893 level? Did anyone jump in right there live during this meeting? Let me know. It wasn't to say that you should have or needed to, but you certainly could have. That was a big level. When a stock breaks to a big level, make sure your stops are set just in case, but hopefully this looks like make a pretty big move on the way up coming up very shortly. So good start. Let's see if there's a lot more left to it here. From Elizabeth and John, both are in right now from that exact price. Beautiful. All right. All right, folks. So coming up quick, we have the phase one stock course lined up at 3:05 Eastern time. We had said that before, but once again, we'll be concluding that class this afternoon. We have the phase two stock course coming up tomorrow. Really quick question. Who here likes pre-market trading? Who here trades the pre-market, enjoys pre-market trading? Let me know here in the chat board. In the meantime, Scott asking GCT question mark. Ah, man, this stupid thing teasing us again. Another pop-up for this thing, right? I'm not a believer, Scott. If you're in it, I'm rooting you on, but I am definitely not a believer, not just because I personally got teased by it, but it's been so flat there the whole day. So, I feel eventually the winds are going to take this the other way there. So, all right, who do we got here? Who likes some pre-market trading? We got Elizabeth, we got Ray, we got John, who I know loves it. Absolutely. You and Grant love your pre-market trading, right? Carla, Steve, Sam. There we go. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, and for all of us on social media too, might I say, hey, be on the lookout on our YouTube channel as well coming up for this. Be on the lookout. Big things coming up, folks, in terms of our education going into Memorial Day weekend and the week after. I can't say too much just yet. Maybe Steve H has a small clue. Maybe Steve H has a small clue inside our chat board right there as to what could be coming ahead. But check your emails going into Friday, that is the end of this week, and check our YouTube channel coming up ahead too. So we'll make that announcement coming up at the end of this week in full. Little teaser there for you in the meantime. Now, for all of us on social media, otherwise, though, I should be tagging in for Fausto throughout the morning meetings during the remainder of this week, tomorrow and Friday. So with that in mind, hey, I appreciate you folks sticking with us each and every day, each and every afternoon, and for the mornings here coming up. So there's my email address, josh@c2trading.com. Any questions or trades that you want to send over, feel more than free to do so. I'm more than happy to help you out in between. But for right now, we got a couple decent movers still in the meantime. As long as APLD could hold over this 890, 893, we're in good shape there. And we got a few more here on top, folks. So for all of us just joining me in class, I look forward to seeing you there. And then otherwise, for all of us, best of luck trading going into the market close today. Take care.